Alright, let's go to Igliak for a minute to Meridian City specifically. Because the Cragmites have, been attacking that. Okay, I forgot. Have we mentioned who Aphelion is voiced by the trip?
In that case,
I don't think
the city has been decimated by Cragmite dropships. They will not last long without support.
It's on the way.
I think Ratchet pronounced it as Aphelion, but...
Aphelion, yeah, there we go. Rajia Barudi.
Okay, I don't remember her.
Yeah, I can't say that name rings a bell for me either.
Like, did they pick a TV VA for, for having Battle Star Power?
She has been in a load of stuff. The most recent thing she's been in was Indiana Jones and the Great Circle.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
She voiced Asmar in that game.
I will give massive kudos to that game. I'm not a fan of the first-person stuff, but other than that, it legit feels like you are playing an Indiana Jones movie. And kudos to Troy Baker, he does a spot-on impression of Harrison Ford. Like, I remember when people at first thought that somehow a game company had managed to convince Harrison Ford to do acting for a game.
Well, I mean, I think Harrison Ford was in Lego Star Wars, the Force Awakens video game.
I think don't remember, but I think he was also in some of the PS2 Indiana Jones game, like the Staff of Atlantis, I think.
I forget, did he do some of the grunts for the Lego Indiana Jones games, like how Johnny Depp did do some of the grunts for Jack Sparrow in the Pirates of the Caribbean game, apparently, Lego-wise?
I don't know.
But, okay, I guess credit where it's due. It seems to be mainly Han Solo Harrison Ford has an issue with, not as much Indiana Jones.
Okay, at least according to Wikipedia, in terms of video games, his only full credit was Lego Star Wars The Force Awakens.
Okay, then.
Huh. Wait, hold on. Was that them using archived recordings from that from the movie?
Me.
I'm not sure exactly.
Does Harrison Ford know what a video game is, I wonder?
Well, he was at the game. They sadly brought him to the stage at the Game Awards last year.
Yeah, that's right.
It was so sad. Like, everyone clapping, and I'm like, my god, let this man be.
I mean, to be fair, it's not like he's, like, weak or anything. He's still kind of the spring.
No, but he
clearly chicken at his age.
He clearly felt like he wasn't on stage just to because he was paid for that.
Oh yes, that's right. That's where it was revealed that Todd Howard's lies have reduced his height.
Yeah.
That or just Troy Baker is that tall.
Incoming distress call from somewhere in the city. It sounds like Captain Qwark.
Welcome to the GrumbleNet Weapon Shop. Bada bing, bada boom.
I don't recall Harrison Ford looking too miserable during that show. But I will say this, I think that was what led to some of the speculation that he was voicing it until they revealed it was Troy Baker.
Although I can tell that Troy Baker probably had a bit more fun as, returning as Higgs for Death Stranding 2, because I remember to check, the story, and I can tell that, yes, Troy Baker was having quite fun, for acting the role.
Beautiful.
As far as, end-of-the-line levels go, this is actually not too bad. It's really just a bit of a bump on the road before you get to Thastoon, which is properly the final level, obviously. But as an appetizer, you know, in order to face the full front of the Cragmite invasion, it's not too bad, really. And again, it provides a bit of a different, you know, climate with the more Metropolis-inspired, you know, environment. So I do appreciate that.
I'll admit, part of me was kind of surprised that the Cragmites' home planet wasn't the final zone, since it seemed like it was all
It was more
set
like
for
the
that.
beginning of the end. To be fair, Pastoon makes sense as, you know, climatic because, you know, the ruins
This
of
is
the
where it all
Lombax,
started.
well,
yeah,
not
it,
all completely started because we got there after, you know, a couple of planets, but it's
Oh,
still,
no,
you
no,
know,
no, 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 no,
thematic.
no, no.
So,
I'm talking about like the history between the Lombaxes and the Cragmites. Like
Okay.
it technically started in Fastoon, so it makes sense thematically that it should end in Fastoon.
again, we will get more context in A Crack in Time, and eventually also in Rift Apart, to an extent, because Rift Apart has an entire data log that talks a bit more about the Lombaxes and about alternate universes, which include stuff like,
Oh,
you know,
boy.
knowing about the universes of Jack and Dexter, and yes, even Knack apparently is in the database of the Lombaxes. Good lord.
Part of me wonders if, okay, if I recall correctly, that was around, okay, that may not have been completely around the time, but I do wonder if, you know, when that plot point was added, that was kind of at a time where Sony were still on that try and make Knack seem cool
To be fair,
bandwagon train.
it's still kind of respecting the legacy of, you know, of PlayStation IPs, you know, good and or bad that they might have been. Again, the same as Astrobot did, which again I appreciate for the purpose of that. You know, even what could be considered, you know, a failure and everything still deserves to be, you know, talked about and not ignored in a room.
You know what, that is a fair point. Preservation should be important no matter what, because if
Or
suddenly
even just
we
acknowledgement, you know, that's what I mean.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, true, that too, yeah. It's like, and you know what? Okay, like, I will say this. If it's natural, I'm fine with it. My only issue is when, is like, as if it's clearly just shoehorned in and them trying to go, guys, it was always cool and good because these characters said so. But from what you describe, it at least sounds just natural.
It's
Like,
just
they don't
an
try
Easter
to
egg.
elevate it over
No,
the other.
again, it's just treated as an Easter egg, nothing more.
That's fine then. And I do want to make it clear again about this game. I, for the most part, would probably be fine with this game. And I don't even dislike the fact that it's going for something of a heavier tone. I do dig the conflict between Ratchet and the Prince of the Cragmites. I think my issue is just the retcons. Not even like just the retcons, but the execution of the retcons, since it goes to that whole, oh, this is part of a big old prophecy, and oh, Ratchet is basically Superman copy number 64, basically. Last of his kind with the super special abilities that his kind have.
Yes, Liv.
That's kind of the thing that I thought nowadays people generally get turned off by stories with the prophecy speaks of the hero doing this or
It really
that.
depends on the matter, Dweebs. The reason why, for example, it did not work in Borderlands, the movie, is because they actually tried to make a prophecy out of something that wasn't there to begin with. It's so fucking
I-
weird. Because
I thought you were gonna say Pan as an example.
nobody
No,
remembers.
no,
Honestly, Dweebs,
Borderlands.
if it wasn't for, you know, you telling us and eventually us seeing the movie, these days not many people would even remember that.
Let me put it like this.
But-
Pan was kind of a flash in the pan.
Funny.
Beca-
But again, Waves, the thing is that the big revelation, you know, for the prophecy attached to the revelation for a main character in the Borderlands movie, that was something told right at the beginning of the first game. I get the idea whoever made the movie, either Eli Roth or the person that supplanted him and rewrote, you know, the movie, probably looked at that and thought, oh shit, we cannot use Handsome Jack yet, we need to come up with something. Let's make Lily's backstory a twist.
Like, look, it cannot be stated enough that, look, even Borderlands fans will tell you that, like, possibly one of the only great true villains of that series is Handsome Jack, but the Borderlands movie could not do it. Yeah, the Borderlands movie couldn't go there. That being said, I'm sorry, trying to make a big Ratchet, no!
Don't pound for the
caught there.
thing. God.
Honestly,
no,
I barely remember that movie.
Look, I know it may sound rich since it's based off of a Gearbox product, but the Borderlands movie is creatively bankrupt. Like, I'm sorry. A Borderlands film has no business doing the stupid Chosen One plot they did in the movie. I don't mean like just any Chosen One plot, I mean specifically the way the movie did it. Especially trying to keep all that importance onto Kate Blanchett's character, which, don't get me wrong, yes, she is important for the game she shows up in, but not like that super duper, you've got the superpower important. Jesus Christ.
Well, no one saw the. Well, I did, but no one else saw the movie.
No, again, me and Deji bothered to give it a look, and I was having constant flashback to the Ball's Blood Rain. And having seen it again recently, as in the Blood Rain movie, I can confirm that, yeah, there are some similarities.
Yeah, honestly, in terms of Uwe Boll movies that I've seen, and talking as someone who turned off In the Name of the King 3/4 of the way through, yes, it was that dull. Honestly, I think Borderlands is more embarrassing because, unlike Uwe Boll movies, this Borderlands actually had a somewhat capable on his day filmmaker in charge, and it had the backing of a
Big
even though
company,
Lionsgate isn't exactly one of the big studios, but they're still
bigger
relatively
than whatever
known.
Uwe Boll did, yes.
And had a big budget to splash around. It's that's what makes it more embarrassing than the typical Uwe Boll video game movie schlock.
Hey, speaking of Lionsgate, wasn't that the same year that they released Megalopolis and The Crow as well?
I don't remember the timing.
Let me check. To be fair, I think Lionsgate only picked up Megalopolis a bit after filming completed or something. I don't know. But
the thing is like I remember there was one
Megalopolis, and what was that other one you mentioned?
The Crow.
The Crow.
The more recent.
There was like one. There was like 1 year in particular. I remember that I think it was Lionsgate, a film company, were having an immensely crap year because almost all the movies they released were terrible.
Yeah, the Lionsgate are really desperate to have a source of income that isn't John Wick or Saw.
And that's also because they had to, as I mentioned to Leaves in Shiri during one of our Dark Souls streams, they had to cancel Saw 11. Probably, apparently the reasoning is, that he told me, is because they were going to continue the plotline from X, as in another interquel still connected with Jigsaw, fucking over, people that were using fraudulent health insurance, but because of real life events, Lionsgate decided to distance themselves from that, so they're probably just rewriting it.
Although apparently the rights to the Saw franchise have passed on to Blumhouse Productions.
Oh god, so it's Universal now. Oh no.
Okay, okay. I want to be fair to Blumhouse. Blumhouse have an effective strategy of essentially budgeting, but really putting out their all into the movies with their budget. This tends to work for the most part, although there are still some failures.
Unbranded.
I will say...
Gem the holograms.
Black Christmas. Let's see who's behind the door. Hi, Qwark.
You alright, Qwark?
Amazingly alive.
Off my top 8.
We need to stop Tachyon before he opens up any more portals.
Like,
Where did
I
he
legit
go?
don't get why Tachyon didn't just kill him.
These rock-hard abs, these chiseled features, these impeccable glutes.
Thank you for that.
I'm no superhero. I am Captain Qwark no more.
This is like the
Get
third
on
time you
Again.
go through this.
Ratchet, I believe Tachyon
Yeah, that
saved
is
the
another
Bastion.
thing I do feel about this plot
How do
here.
you know?
Again, sometimes I'm left
Zoning
wondering,
told me.
Did these guys see the originals? Because it
this
does
is
feel like
still
it
important.
repeats a
There you
few.
go, now Ratchet fully trusts Clank
Good
after
idea.
what
I'll stay
happened.
here and coordinate the relief effort.
It's like
Well,
I said,
okay,
his assholery did not really last as long
Clank,
and it
send the
wasn't as
transmission to
grating
Qwark.
as in
Tell
the
him we'll
original
need support on
game.
Fastoon.
Transmitting now.
Oh, thank God! Because if this were the first game, and we got to this point in that one, Ratchet would have probably been like, "God damn it, will you shut up about the fucking things in your head, you weirdo!"
I don't know. Like, to Ratchet's credit, whenever he gets huffy with Clank, I can get where he's coming from, since, you know, his whole race is gone, but he now has a way to potentially find them, so I can get why he and Clank came to blows. Also, I'll give the story credit that at least it pretty much had Captain Qwark's retirement last for all of 3 seconds, so I guess in a sense they are aware of this routine, at least.
Anyway, tune in for the next part, where we get to the epic conclusion, back as Medjova mentioned, where it all began, on Fastoon. So see you for that.
See you then.
See ya.